Okay, I'm going to talk about anger a little bit and kind of the different ways that we can express anger. And being that there are different ways, different expressions, some of those expressions are going to be healthier than others. And we, I'm basically going to try to encourage you to choose the healthier expressions and leave behind the unhealthy expressions. So, the inspiration for this video came from these rage rituals that I've seen. And if you don't know what a rage ritual is, it's a retreat where you can pay somebody to go into a secluded area, perhaps in the middle of a national park or something, and offload your rage. And in the videos I've seen, the way that people are offloading their rage is by hitting the ground with a stick or by screaming into the sky, right? And what these people are really doing, paying for, is they're paying for access to a safe space in a sense. So they're paying for access to a secluded area that they can offload their rage in without being judged by other people. Now, I'm not going to I have criticisms of these rage rituals, but at the same time, there are a lot worse ways to express your rage. For example, instead of hitting the ground with a stick or yelling at the sky, you could be hitting someone else with a stick or yelling at somebody else, right? It's certainly a lot healthier to express that anger in a way that isn't hurting anybody else or isn't directed at anyone else. So, in that sense, these rage rituals are surely better than other expressions of rage or of anger, right? But I think we can do better, and I want to explain why. So, again, you're paying hundreds or thousands of dollars to hit the ground with a stick or to scream, right? What you're doing is you are offloading anger, and ultimately, that anger that you're offloading through rage, it's going to come back. Why is it going to come back? Because you're not getting rid of it. You're not getting rid of the cause of it, rather. So it's not a whole lot different from drinking a bunch of water and then peeing. You can't only pee once because you're gonna drink more water in the future. You're gonna have to pee again, right? The tank of anger is going to get filled back up again, and you're going to need to express it again. You're going to need to offload it. So, if we acknowledge that anger is going to come back, and we become consciously aware that it's never going to stop, then it's only logical to look for healthier expressions to that anger. And beyond that, it's only logical to try to solve the causes of the actual causes of that anger. So again, offloading the anger is never going to get rid of it. It's just going to keep coming back, and by extension, logically, you're going to have to keep paying hundreds or thousands of dollars for these rage ritual retreats, right? There's a good chance that the reason you're angry is due to some level of economic strife, right? And therefore you're going to go into the woods and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to offload your anger indefinitely. It's not very logical, right? I think we've been ingrained with this idea that we have to pay for a solution to something every time, that there is no such thing as a free solution. It's not true at all. You can hit the ground with a stick for free. No one is going to charge you for that, okay? And beyond that, you can go run down the road. That's another way to express your anger. That might be, in my personal experience, there's no better way to get rid of anger than going on a little 5K run. And obviously, if you've never ran before, a 5K is going to seem like a monumental task. At the same time, I look at the people who run marathons and I'm like, holy shit, how the hell do they do that? Or ultra marathons, right? A mile run to you might be like a 5K to me, so do the work and express the anger in a healthier way through perhaps exercise, right? Hitting the ground with a stick is a great form of exercise. There's no doubt about it. Why would you not maybe go to a gym and hit a punching bag, or hit a ground with a stick for free, or go on a run, or go lift some weights? All of those things are a lot cheaper than paying for a rage ritual retreat, right? And in all likelihood, by paying for those things, you're kind of adding to your anger, because you're perhaps making your financial stress, you're increasing your financial stress, right? We need to think about the long-term solutions to our anger. And beyond exercise, we can think about much more sophisticated, much more conscious ways to solve the anger. We can think about what's causing the anger, and we can organize our efforts in such a way that fixes those causes, right? So for example, these very videos that I'm making right now are ultimately expressions of anger. Now, I may seem pretty cool-headed, and ultimately I am, but the reason for that is because I've learned to control my emotions. I've learned to use my anger and express it in a way that is, well, it's healthier. I've learned to use it. I've learned to basically try to solve the problems, which is by effectively bringing people together. And that's what I try to do on this YouTube channel. I try to diminish the division, which is probably perhaps the main cause of the anger. And what that does in the long term is it addresses that root cause rather than just relying on offloading the anger at the next ritual or retreat every weekend or whatever. So we need to encourage healthier expressions of anger. Another way that I've personally learned to express my anger is by, again, more conscious solutions, such as better nutrition. When I eat unhealthy, I feel the anger rising in me because it makes me feel bad. The lack of healthy food in my body makes me feel like shit, and I get angry and I start blaming other people for things. I can eat a bag of Doritos, and the next day I can tell that I ate unhealthy food. I can feel different. I feel the fact that I feel different. I can consciously feel the fact that that food affected me differently than the healthy food did. And so what my solution to that is, what my expression of that anger is to start planting food in my backyard, and by extension I can become healthier and I can save money from having to buy all that expensive food in the grocery store, right? These are healthier expressions of anger, okay? If you look at any of the great people on this planet, they were fundamentally angry people. Whether it's your favorite musician or your favorite scientist, whoever it is, every single person that has accomplished great things on this planet was able to do so because they learned to control their anger. They looked at the world and the things that made them angry, and they they made it their mission to solve the causes of that anger. Whether it's Albert Einstein or Freddie Mercury, it doesn't make a difference. Music is an interesting one too, because instead of screaming at the sky, what you could do instead is, maybe you could sing, and you could listen to that heavy metal music, and you sing and perhaps scream the lyrics, and behind those lyrics is like more of an intent, right? If you scream at the sky, again, you're offloading that anger. But if you scream at the sky with lyrical intent, well, then it's going to have more power. It's going to have, it's a more healthy expression of that anger that's going to further inspire other people, right? That's what music is. Music is a way to inspire people to make change. Ask any musician, and their lyrics inspired themselves. That is why they wrote the music. It's because that was their way of expressing their anger, to make the world a better place, to get rid of the cause of that anger. Anger is a gift, okay? But if you don't use it in the right way, it becomes a weapon, right? It becomes rage, perhaps, against somebody else. That's what war is. War is the worst expression of anger that we can come up with, right? Instead of trying to ask yourself why the people are attacking you, you just attack them back, and then you fall into this vicious cycle, right? We want the healthy expressions of anger. And again, part of that can be continuous exercise, an exercise regimen, a good nutrition regimen, and beyond that, a greater purpose that allows you to essentially address the underlying root causes of the anger. And the ways you can address that underlying root cause are infinite, right? You are an individual, and I don't want to limit you to, oh, you have to become a musician, or you have to become a politician, or you have to become a farmer. That's not very wise for me to tell you that you are limited to a certain boundary, certain boundaries of ways to express that anger in a healthy manner. You are an individual who needs to look at your life, look at what you want to do in the world, look at the things that make you angry, and come up with your own individual way, your own unique way to attack those causes of that anger. And when you do that, you become a force for good. And instead of paying for that retreat every weekend to scream in that secluded place, you become a little more confident, and you become you have the confidence to take that anger out in healthy ways in front of people, okay, and without having the need to be secluded, right? And ultimately, that seclusion is not good, because it's running away from the people who are probably ultimately causing the problem, or it's isolating yourself from the problem. We want to face these challenges head on, and anger is the path to do so, but we have to control our expressions of that anger. Again, the greatest minds, the greatest achievers in all of history were great achievers, were great minds, because of their ability to express their anger in a healthy manner. They use that anger to inspire them to change the world. And that's the takeaway from this video. You have to corral all of that anger towards one goal or a couple different goals. You don't have to be Gandhi. You don't have to be Mother Teresa. You just need to understand that whatever purpose you choose, ultimately that purpose is going to be directed at, it's going to be an expression of the anger that you feel. And if you keep relying on that rage outlet, you're never going to solve that problem. The problem is going to get worse, or at the very least, it's going to stay neutral. And that means the anger is going to keep coming back. The people who have managed to change the world are the people who caught onto that pattern. They're the people who caught onto the pattern of that rage that kept coming back. They realized that without addressing the rage, without addressing the anger, that didn't solve anything. When you become conscious of the pattern, it changes the entire way that you live. It makes you become more conscious about your immediate, fast, emotional reactions to things, and you think more long term, and you think more rationally by extension. So again, anger is a gift. It truly is. You can't get away from it. But when Gandhi got angry, you know what he did? He said he saw it as a challenge. He's like, oh, I have to get rid of this by helping the world. And that's what we all have to do. When we all do that on a large scale, that's when the division diminishes. That's when we all become unified and begin to work together, as opposed to being obedient to these cutthroat economic structures that we have. And again, it's not very wise to go and pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for a rage ritual retreat that doesn't solve the root cause of the problem, right? It's not entirely different from putting a Band-Aid on a wound that needs stitches, right? You're basically hiding the problem, and you're pretending it's not there, and it's certainly not gonna heal. It's probably gonna get worse, but at the very least, it's not gonna get better, right? So just give that a little thought. Thanks for watching.